Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Spurley, and so right now, what I have to talk to you about today. Oh, phone just went off. I apologize for that. So, this video, obviously by the title, is advice for freshmen in high school. Now, just quickly, two things to say before I give you the advice that's going to be the real pertinent advice that you need to listen to. So, the first thing I want to say is when I was a freshman in high school, I really wish I saw an advice for a high school freshman video or something like that. I wish I had some real advice because going into it, I was incredibly nervous. I had moved across the country from Hawaii to Tennessee, and I moved all the way across the country 2 weeks before school started. And of course, you're not going to meet anyone in that amount of time. And like you can't meet you can't meet new people like outside of school, like when you move somewhere. That's how you meet people. You meet people in school when you're like when you are in high school. And so I was on my own for 2 weeks, which was fine. I had a lot of unpacking, a lot of getting used to things, a lot of stuff like that you gotta get used to when you move somewhere. But I really wish that I had someone that could give me advice that was going through, not going through the same thing, but that had just gone through the same thing or that had been through it before. And so it's something that I could listen to and that it would be real advice that would actually help me. And I didn't have that, and I kind of suffered because of it. And so that's kind of the first thing I want to mention about that. The second thing I do before I give you the real advice is this is the second time I've made this video. I'm redoing it because I decided. At first, I thought the advice that I had given was like the spot-on advice that you needed, but then I realized if you take that advice that I used in that video, you'll make it through. You might have fun along the way, but really, you're gonna find more happiness by doing something else that I thought of. You're going to find real happiness by other things, not what that advice was. But some of the advice I still agree with. Number one was you're going to want to, you don't want to be the loudest person in the room. You don't want to be the person that's always talking. I still think that that's a good idea because that's just step one to make people not hate you. Step number two, but like a piece of advice number two that I still agree with is dress nicely and care about your hygiene. Because people will, if you could be a dirty motherfucker, but not be annoying, still be someone cool to hang around with, and people will have a conversation with you, but they're not going to want to make friends with you. They're not going to want to do too much with you because no one likes a dirty motherfucker. So care about your hygiene, and try to dress nicely. That really will go a long way. And I still agree with that advice. I'm not saying it's something you have to do like to fit in. I'm just saying that's going to make people want to talk to you. If you're not always talking and you look and you smell good, that's gonna go a long way. And also the looking good and smelling good is going to be good for you because that's going to give you the confidence to go up to someone and either try to start a friendship with them, or maybe it's a girl, maybe you'll have better luck talking to them. You'll go into it with better confidence, and I think that those things will go a long way. But like I had also like kind of really terrible advice now that I go and I think about it, and it was like, make sure you're not making friends with people that other people don't like and stuff like that. And like in my head, I understand where that's coming from, but and like I understand where I was going with that, and I agree to a certain extent with that. You will boost up a little bit if you do that, but at the same time, I feel like if you want to make friends with someone, it shouldn't matter who they are. Make friends with them. That's kind of my piece of advice. And you may limit yourself on the possible friends that you can have because of the friends that you make, but as long as you're happy, being someone's friend, that's kind of the main piece of advice. And now the main piece of advice, which you might hear a lot, but is really, after going through high school, something that I really learned and wish I used more, was do what makes you happy. If you're happy being friends with someone else, and if you're happy being friends with someone, and maybe other people, they look down on it, or like your hobby or something like that, they look down on your hobby. If you're having fun with it, stick to it. That's really something I wish I learned. don't force yourself to do non-mandatory things that you don't want to. If you're doing something that isn't mandatory, make sure it's something that you like. Otherwise, you're gonna start not having fun, and you're gonna start to forget how to have fun. And then, if that makes sense, you're gonna be like, oh well, this is something I have to do. If you do stuff, if you keep doing things that you don't find fun, but you think will like pay dividends to you, they're gonna end up being a chore and not something you don't have to do. So if you find something fun, stick to it, and it doesn't matter. Just do the non-mandatory things that you find fun. Keep doing them. If you have something that you don't find fun that isn't mandatory, don't do it. It's kind of as simple as that. And I say non-mandatory things, like people are like, oh, I don't want to do this schoolwork, so I'm not gonna do it. Don't be that guy. No one likes that guy. Don't be that guy. Doing your work will take you a long way. Yeah. Number 2. Now, I give a lot of that was all a lot of social advice, and here's going to be some more academic advice. Doing your homework not doing your homework will be something that'll be easy to do, and that'll something that you can easily get away with, but it will cost you in the end being truthful and honest. Now, that's not the same with all classes. I'm going to tell you straight up. I've a lot of math classes. I never did the homework, and it didn't penalize me for it. They didn't penalize me for it. But sometimes I didn't know how to do things, like when it came down to test day. And honestly, your teachers will say that, and they are right. I know when teachers say that, you're like, okay, shut the fuck up. But it actually is truthful. But there is some homework that you don't have to do that won't count against you and won't hurt you in the long run. The difference is, it's really hard to find those types of homework. It's really hard to identify that type of homework until after it's already happened. And it's usually just you getting lucky because you didn't do something. So usually, keep up with studying, keep up with your homework, and learn time management now. The second you can, learn time management, as that'll go a long way. And make sure you have fun in high school, because this is the most amount of fun you can have with the lowest responsibility. And so just keep that in mind. And high school's a fun time. Have fun doing it. See you guys later.